Hey guys, Sharpen here. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a bubbling pad using Massive X. It sounds something like this. In addition to that, I'm also going to show you how you can easily turn it into a lead patch that sounds something like this. So in order to recreate that sound, the first thing I'm going to do is to change oscillator 1 to a sine wave. Like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to pitch it up an octave so that our MIDI doesn't sound too low. And I'm going to enable the second oscillator, and I'm going to set the wavetable to harmonics, and the first one right here, it sounds like this. Now I'm also going to add a noise oscillator. I'm going to go to environment and add the burble one. It sounds something like this. And now I'm going to change its pitch so that it fits with our sine wave. So let's hear them together. So right now we have too much high frequency content, so I'm going to pitch it down. Something like that. And I'm going to tell T1, which is keyboard tracking, to pitch it up as we go to higher notes on the keyboard. Like that. So now I'm going to enable only the second oscillator and the noise. And I'm going to be adding Anima over here. And I'm going to control it using an LFO. So I'm going to switch the LFO rate to sync. And I'm going to switch it to 8 divided by 16. And I'm going to tell it to automate the pitch of Anima. So I'm going to bring it down by a bit and tell it to modulate its pitch. Right now it sounds like this. I'm going to increase the smear all the way, the rate all the way, and the amount to be almost all the way. I'm going to reduce the level of the noise. And now I'm going to tell the LFO to also modulate the wavetable position for our second oscillator. And I'm going to low pass filter it by a bit so that we don't get all of the harsh high frequency content out of it. Something like this. Now, as you can hear, we are sort of hearing sort of an arpeggiator from our chord sound using the harmonics wavetable. So I'm going to adjust the wavetable position and the Anima until we get slightly more tonal sound. So as you can hear, using these modulations, we got to a point where you can sort of hear some arpeggiated notes from the chord that we're playing. So we're going to add some more modulation using that LFO by turning down the low pass filter and telling it to modulate the resonance to go all the way up and back down. Something like that. So now with the noise, it should sound like this. So as you can hear, the noise and the second oscillator sort of complement each other and create a bubbly sound. And then once we add the more stable and total sine wave, we get a much fuller sound. And since we're making a pad, I think that we can also increase the attack time for our volume envelope, which is envelope 1. And also add some release time. Something like that. Let's lower the volume by a bit. And now we can add some effects. So I'm going to add some reverb, and I'm going to set the mix all the way. And now it's up to you for how big you want it to sound. I like it when the reverb's size is pretty small, because it sounds almost like the original, but slightly more, slightly wider. Here's an example. And then if you want more high frequency content, you can increase the color. But I like to keep it pretty much where it is. And in addition to that, you can also add some dimension expander to also create that stereo effect. So now in addition to that, I'm also going to add some external effects. And these are right here. I have an EQ that basically removes all of the very low end. This is because you can get really low notes if you decide to not pitch up your second wavetable, like here. So from time to time you see this area, some low frequencies are appearing in that area. So I'm just high passing that area. And in addition to that, I'm also adding some ODT. The wet is at around 40% wet. And I'm just reducing some of the gain and increasing the output gain. And I'm also removing some of the very harsh high frequencies so that it doesn't sound way too synthetic and it sounds slightly more organic. And in addition to that, there's also some more room reverb. It's on 50% wet. And I also decided to remove most of the bass frequencies out of it so that it doesn't get too muddy at that area. So that is it for the pad sound. But the cool thing about that sound is that because you get a really interesting sort of bubbly sound out of it, you can easily turn this into a lead. So that's what we're going to do now. In order to do that, you need to go to voice and to change it to mono right here. And then all you need to do is to enable the glide setting and just set it to a time that you like let's test this time. And first of all, let's remove the release and set the attack time to be as fast as possible. So let's hear it now with some less reverb. And so right now it sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to reduce the amount of reverb and the size. In addition to that, take off some of the room reverb. And I'm also going to remove some of the very high frequencies so we get slightly more organic sound. I'm going to low pass it by a bit. And right now it should sound like this. And as you can see, we can create a really nice lead sound out of it just by changing the glide setting and just playing single notes instead. And that is pretty much it. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below what subject you want me to cover up next time.